I have a weakness, really. Let me confess to you.
Okay, a lot of people who are watching gym videos on this channel are not subscribed, and to you guys, I'm asking this one question: what's going on?
I have a weakness, really. Let me confess to you. I think it's a normal weakness for every human being. You need to behave to be taken seriously in a manner that shows you yourself take yourself seriously.
Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to yet another video. Okay, so I have here evidence to show you guys that even though Botswana President and Ibrahim Traore's ideas might clash, a lot of people believe like these guys are the same, or like, you know, they're doing things the same way, son of the soil. And I can get it when people are applauding Duma Boko for what he is doing, but as for Traore, I can't say the same thing. But anyway, here is one other thing that I pointed out, that, you know, in Botswana there is like freedom of speech and all the things that in Burkina Faso they are not encouraged, whilst in Botswana they are encouraged. And the president said this.
You see, if all that you are writing is negativity, it is uninformed, it is speculative fabrications, divorced, destitute of even the slightest ounce of truth, then you make it very difficult for anybody to take you seriously, much less myself. I have a difficulty first with listening to a person who has no substance, who doesn't make sense. I find it very difficult. It's like torture. I have an even more serious problem with reading stuff that is not well written. And many of the pieces that you write in your newspapers are badly written. Even the grammar is bad. I'm telling you, I must be honest with you folks. And then, everything is devoid of truth. Do you take yourself seriously as a professional, if that's what you do? Do you deserve then to be taken seriously? I would rather go to the bus rank and listen to those folks there. They make more sense than some of the stuff that you write. Oh, the vice president and the president are fighting. Where were they fighting? How far were you? Oh, this one is about to be removed. Where do you get all these things, folks? Where do you get these things? And you peddle them with such zeal. And investors read these things, and they might also be put off. This is not a serious country. If the president is fighting with the vice, there's nothing like that. Absolutely. So, all I ask of you is to be taken seriously, and I'm dying, I'm yearning to take you seriously. I want to engage with you folks, but make it worth my while. I have so much to do. As I said, people are catching hell. I can't be spending time talking to people who are bereft of even the most basic understanding of issues. No, that is not something that I'm willing to do. But if you come and you probe, you engage, you admonish, I'm happy. I love these engagements. I'll make time even in the middle of the night for you if that's how you operate. But make it justifiable. That's all I ask, and I'm sure that's all everybody asks. And that is why the discourse now on social media, you see the level of pedestrianism, all the speculations, that's so pathetic. And much of it actually defamatory. That you ask, why are we wasting our time on this? Let's focus on serious issues. So the press, I'm urging you to be more serious, robust. And these days information is readily available. There's nothing to hide. Don't just write and speculate. Check. What is the data? And it's available. We will avail it to you. You want to know where the president was? I'll tell you. Who I met? I might tell you. Provided you will not go behind the scenes and go and insult the people, which is what you try and do most of the time. So the negativity the toxicity is actually off-putting. So I urge you humbly, please inform yourselves, establish the facts. Facts.
So after the president said that, the media was immediately united. Every journalist in Botswana was thinking the same thing. Like, is this guy saying what I think he's saying? Yeah, so this was a press conference for him to let know the media of, like, you know, how far with investments, all the beautiful things, okay? But after he said that, one journalist said this. I think it was Sunday Standard or something. Jewel Konopo, that's the journalist. And you tell me, if this journalist wrote something about his president like this and they are in Burkina Faso, would that journalist still be with us today? I say this because so many other journalists have been arrested and stuff like that. But this is not pointing a finger at Duma Boko. This is like democracy playing out. And this is the beauty of it. He's saying what he said, and the journalists are saying what they're saying. And at the end of the day, we just move forward. Nobody gets hurt. Everybody heard what everybody is saying. Okay, so here's what the journalist said. President Duma Boko held a press conference this week to announce a grand strategic deal with Turkish investors in the energy sector. It should have been a moment of celebration. After all, the chronic power shortages that haunt our lives were finally getting a serious solution. The cameras were ready, the microphones lined up, journalists and photographers arrived in numbers despite the short notice. It should have been a bright afternoon for the president, but as usual, joy was too simple a thing to allow. True form. President Boko managed to wrest sorrow from the jaws of good news. Instead of basking in the moment, he turned his fire on journalists, his favorite punching bag. I don't remember any president from Botswana being liked or liking the journalists. I feel like presidents in Botswana, they have the same kind of love-hate relationship with the president. But it's all democracy, guys. The man who knows everything. This is the journalist continue to say stuff about the president. In other countries, will be like, hey, dude. But you see, the president has an itch no scratching can cure. He's convinced that he is a genius, not just a leader, but a philosopher king of infinite knowledge in the universe. In the universe, according to Advocate Duma Boko, everyone else is a mere mortal fumbling through existence, while he, the great mind, sits atop Olympus, dispensing wisdom on everything from theology to insect anatomy. This is funny, and it's just yeah. This is really funny. And journalists, they are the gnats orbiting his glow. To him, they are the unwashed masses of mediocrity. What am I saying? This is what Duma Boko is talking about. Stumbling through grammar and syntax while he quotes Aristotle and Piketty in the same breath. Boko's contempt for journalists isn't just intellectual snobbery. It's a full-blown obsession. You could have said that with about any president in Botswana, by the way. There's always been, I don't know, I don't remember. Anyway, let me not just say, I feel like the first 3 presidents, who knows what was happening back then. But I feel like from as far as I remember, when I was like a grown-up, you could have written this piece for any other president. They always kind of have those clashes, okay? The irony of the self-made man the media made, yet the irony is thicker than the Gaborone smog. The same journalists he derides are the ones who made him famous. The Basara case that launched his career, without the media spotlight, Boko would still be in court attaching second-hand cars from broke entrepreneurs. The human rights halo he wears so proudly was polished by reporters who told his story, amplified his voice, and made him the darling of the liberal founders who bankrolled his rise. He was, lest we forget, once a columnist himself, pounding away at a keyboard, seeking relevance through the very profession he now insults. A man who was built by the press, now tearing it down. If irony were crime, he'd be saving life. This is a journalist talking about the president. And he's addressing all these things. Now he's addressing lawyers, the real merchants of elite looting. But perhaps the most galling part of his tirade is that Boko, of all people, should know better. He's a lawyer, and if Botswana has 2 professions that grease the wheels of corruption, they are lawyers and accountants. For every missing million in government coffers, there was a lawyer who drew up papers. For every crooked tender that was there was an attorney ready to advise. Every theft in a suit came signed and sealed by someone with LLB after their name. It wasn't journalists who looted this country. It was the lawyers who enabled looters. Journalists may get their grammar wrong, but lawyers perfected the language of legalized theft. Ooh! It's getting deeper, even for me. Some of the words I'm like, what? And then the next part, he says, a little self-reflection, Mr. President. So when Boko stands before cameras, waging his finger at reporters for bad grammar or shallow analysis, he might consider looking in the mirror. No journalist ever drafted a dodgy procurement contract. No reporter ever laundered stolen millions. Those honors belongs to the noble profession of law, the very fraternity he hails from. If he truly wants to save this broken country, he should start by cleansing the legal fraternity of its own moral rot. He should teach his colleagues patriotism before lecturing journalists on syntax. He should rail against the greed of lawyers before mocking the ignorance of reporters. In the end, grammar never bankrupted a nation. Lawyers did. So before President Boko climbs his next rhetorical high horse to trample on journalists, he might consider dismounting and taking a good look around. The real villains of this story wear stars, not press tags. Shots fired.
Hello, sir.
Hello, ma'am.
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk to you. Is it?
No.
I'm not allowed to talk to you. All right. Jokes aside, sir, thank you so much for the
You can
sauna.
sing for me?
Hopefully. But sir, I just wanted to ask you a quick one. You know, you've got qualms with the media. I'm a member of the media. How can we
I don't have
best?
problems with the media.
No, I said you've got qualms, sir. Yes, you've got your qualms with the media, and of course, the first one you've mentioned is the grammar. The second one that you've mentioned, of course, is some fake news. But I do feel like a lot of the times, some of the pronouncements that you make, they're very blanketed. I can give an example of my editorial line. We have never said anything that is false, particularly about you, sir. I work at Duma FM, sir. My name is Roberta.
You.
Yes, especially me, sir.
You're
But it's a blanket statement.
biased
Is it bias?
Yeah.
Against you, sir?
against certain views and viewpoints. You lean
Yes.
in terms of the people you invite to come and speak.
Yes, sir.
You can tell there's a slant. That is what I think.
So you feel like we're slanted towards one side. But don't you think that it's a bit of a contradiction? I was one of the people that was labeled to sort of be on your side. Many people said, "Ke mo side in your UDC." Why then, when I hold you accountable, am I now slanting? Just because we're now holding your government accountable, sir. What's the difference there?
No, there's no contradiction, there's no difference.
Yes, sir.
I'm the first person to insist on this government being held accountable.
Yes, sir.
All I'm saying is, let's deal with facts,
Okay.
plain facts. Let's report accurately. Let's report ethically and fairly. That's all.
All right.
You hold the government accountable. You are holding them to certain standards, which if they fall short of, you are perfectly entitled to criticize them. But please also allow us,
So we don't criticize, we ask. Do you mind when we ask questions
allow
to the
us to
listeners?
also ask you and probe you, but allow us to criticize.
I see. And last question, sir, I promise.
I mean, it's a heated argument, and journalists were bound to prove themselves. So basically, it's a back and forth, and I think it has nothing. It's not like a scandal. It's also kind of common or normal in Botswana to have this back and forth with the president. Like I said, I don't remember any other president ever having like a cozy relationship with the press, which is really good because that means the reporters are not just reporting what the president wants. They can report whatever they want, whether the president approves or disapproves. That's how democracy survives, and that's how democracy works. The president shouldn't be in control of the media at all. If anything, the relationship with the president, the media should be like this, where it's like, you have no friend in the media, because I'm telling you, not journalists were like, oh, we heard you, Mr. President, so they kind of like didn't say anything. I feel like every journalist was kind of like, oh no, you did not just attack us, and they went all in their social media platforms and just calling him out in different levels. So for people who says democracy does not work in Africa, and I mean, I understand. There's so many other African countries have gone through difficult times because of the thing that they call democracy. Maybe because the constitution of the country was undermined by the people that are supposed to uphold democratic values. But before you doubt if democracy can work, look at countries like Botswana, look at countries like South Africa, where obviously there's still freedom of speech. And I mean, there's always risk involved in freedom of speech, but that does not mean that the country as a whole agrees with that. Obviously, the supporters of Duma Boko are going to say, oh no, this journalist, what's wrong with you? And then the people who don't support Duma Boko are gonna be like, yeah, the media is right. So it's the beauty of democracy. And one thing that I would like to warn people is that, like, I feel like following a leader as if there are some sort of a god, I think that's where the problem is. The problem is not necessarily on the leader himself. I think the problem is it comes with the followers who would follow the leader to the grave, if you know what I mean. So this is what is happening in Botswana. This is the beauty of democracy. And when you go, if you have an opportunity to go to Botswana or understand what is happening in Botswana, hopefully this video will help you so you can know what environment it is in Botswana. Democracy is still at play, and it doesn't seem like it's slowing down. And even the president of Botswana today, this happened like a few days ago, and everybody has just moved on. You know what I mean? Journalists are still reporting. Journalists are still doing their job, even though the president was like, yo, correct your grammar, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you are here for the first time, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell too, so you don't miss any of the uploads on this channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell too, so you don't miss any of the uploads on this channel. See you guys on the other side. Bye.